きらめきの島、星屑の都、美しい。でも君は見飽きてしまったろうね。ご覧、綺麗だ。そう、嬉しいか。君は住んでいい。
Okay, right over here, you want to go to this crack in the street, jump forward twice with an evade dash, and then do a charge. You'll always be able to get a charge off. How's everybody doing? This is Big Benedict. This is Chapter 3, the Thunderclap of Catastrophe. This is going to be an extremely long chapter, but it's going to be a fun one, and I'm going to be taking you through every aspect of it, including the Test of Valor. So, in this area and in the other area that's adjacent to this area, there's bats. You're going to see the bats. See the bats in the background? You probably couldn't see them right there, but you'll see them in a moment. What you can do is slay them with Y attacks, and then use their essence to get charges. See the bats right there? I'm going to jump away and try to get a charge off. And I'm not going to focus the camera on these guys to lower their aggression factor. It does more than you might think it would do, and for this area I would definitely recommend having the Lunar equipped, because it's going to give you the range you need and the strength you need. A couple of hits with the X button will sunder the limbs of the Van Gelfs. You can wind path off them. Now in this area over here there are bats too, but I think sometimes when you trigger the bats on the left side early on, you don't get these bats over here. Normally you would see some flying in. There's also some bats by the Nimpo chest. So you see how right there I just charged an attack, and it's not blind faith that you're doing, and you're not really like praying that you're not going to get stomped on. What I prefer to do is, now that was a close call there, but it was just a matter of me releasing the charge. What I like to do is have one chase me and then do his combo, and then get it on landing charge, and that pretty much always guarantees that I'll be able to get a UT going. So I just kind of mix and match things with UTs. See how easy I sundered that guy's limbs right there? The guy's limb. So I like to, if I just need a really quick kill, I'll go in for I'll go in for I'll press X once or twice. Sometimes even one press of the X button will delimb these guys, and you don't have to have the Lunar up to level 3 like I do. What else to say? The Lunar 360 UT is effective too. I have a problem with a hand injury getting that particular analog rotation down, let alone getting it on landing 360. So most of I would pretty much say all of the Lunar 360s that you'll see me do are me just standing on the ground and then rotating the analog stick. I can do it, I just can't do the on landing charge. This guy looks like he's the last guy. There's a lot of these guys, and every time you restart this area, you're going to have to fight the Van Gelfs. There's a lot of them. So I would not advise using any Nimpo on that section, and I would also not advise healing. Now we're going to go over to where the bats are by the chest, only because I want to try to get some Nimpo orbs. I think over here I only got one, not Nimpo orbs, health orbs. What am I talking about? You see right here, there's only 3 bats. Normally you get more than 3. I'm not really sure what's going on over there. We are going to be getting the wind blades, and I'm going to unhesitatingly say upgrade the wind blades to level 2. It's going to help you out on the test of Valor and on all the melee ninjas. So here's the wind blades over here, and this can be a pretty difficult part, and a lot of the times I'm nervous because I don't want to have to redo the Van Gelfs every time. I don't aim with the wind blades. At level 3 you won't be able to aim anyway, so you might as well get used to just releasing the wind blades, because the wind blades will have projectiles 360 all around you. It's one of the more unique weapons, the Nimpos in this game. So here I'm doing charges. I did a charge. I'm doing magic. I'm doing OTs. And now I'm going to take care of this guy right here. I got a beheading, which was very nice. And you see I have some crawlers over here. I love when I have crawlers, because that means I could snipe them from a distance and get my 490 per kill. And you simply can't do that with a weapon UT, because they're going to break your charge every time with their ISs. So take this guy out right here, and then we have 2 more crawlers. I got a little bit ambitious over here, and I thought I could do a charge. Sometimes they'll wander around the map. Yeah, it looks like they threw the IS shurikens right through the car windows of that abandoned car right there. So now I'm going to go back here and do charges. I know I could just go over to them and UT them, but there is the risk of them grabbing me and killing me with my amount of health. So I'm going to not only go over here because it's safer, but also because it's more lucrative to get 490 a kill rather than risking getting killed just to get 70 essence. So I'm going to take you through every aspect of this level, like I said, and also I'm going to, at every instance, I'm going to show you the best way to possibly manipulate the system so you get the most possible money. So now I'm going to get the health orbs over here, because my health is rather low. And now we're going to have to deal with 2 sets of 2 IS ninjas. So you come up here, you fly swallow right there. I'm going to switch to the lunar, and I'm going to prepare a 360 UT charge right here. So I move the camera. You see the guys running down the stairs. These IS ninjas, their downfall is that they can't just jump off the platform. They have to run down the stairs, stair by stair. So take advantage of that. Looks like that guy didn't get affected by my 360 UT, but I did a parry right there. Then I'm going to do an OT over here. The next set of IS ninjas won't spawn until you kill these guys, so you just need to go over to this corner again and try to do a 360U charge in preparation for their arrival right here. It works really well. And then tap on the Y button to do the Azuna drop, if the game will let you, because it is random. And now we're doing... I'm just pummeling this guy to death with the staff to try to get some health drops, but I didn't get any. You can go back and get the Nimpo orbs, but since I had 1 orb, it was completely unnecessary for me to get the box. But anyway, now we have archers. Now, if you want to go back to where like the Nimpo box is, you will 100% of the time unspawn these guys. But I'll show you a really easy way to kill these guys. I like to dash up here, so I have a little bit, because there are iframes when you dash. I like to take care of these 2 guys. Normally, both of these guys would get inflamed, but they didn't get inflamed that time. How you deal with these guys is you stun them with an arrow, and then you get an on-landing charge to do an ET. You have to do an on-landing charge because that'll guarantee that you'll get an ET in time. An ET will sunder them and make them walk to you at a crawl. So watch this. I'm going to... See how I got the... You can tell by his posture how his back is so straight. What my mistake over here was to finish off this UT way over here where the enemy spawn was. So I would have advised, instead of what I did, wait for the guy to come to you a little bit more, so you don't have to... Because ideally what you want to do in this particular instance is jump off the rails and then not even have to worry about these guys at first. Then jump down, like I'm going to jump down here, and do a flying swallow, try to get a beheading. I think I got a beheading over here. I got 2 beheadings, which is rather rare, but I was fortunate to get it. And now we have, just like before, we have the same scenario where the IS ninjas are all going to run down to greet us because they have to run down every single flight of stairs. So, looks like we have 1 guy over here. And it turned out that we have 2 crawlers up here. I thought it was just 1 crawler, But always take advantage of these guys. Whenever they can't hit you and you can arrow UT these guys, definitely do it. Because that's 490 essence right there. So I didn't see that my health regenerated, and it didn't, but I assumed it did, and then that guy kind of snuck up on me. So he's the last bastion between you and the save point. I personally don't feel that this section is harder than the next section in Chapter 4 before the save point, but it can be pretty tough. It's just nerve-wracking because you don't want to do the whole Vangel fight over again. It's just very tedious. It's not difficult. It's just that there's so many of those guys. So now we're going to go over to the save point, and then the next fight we're going to be doing is versus dozens of flying demons. So go over here and save it at the save point. Okay, so after you save it, we're going to be facing the flying bird demons. Now you have a couple of options with these guys. If you don't have any Nympho orbs, as I don't, but I have that chest back there in the beginning of the stage to refill my Nympho orbs. What you can do, and this is what I did last time, even though I didn't record the footage, was instead of doing ETs and UTs on these flying demons, what I would do is just go around and normally hit them, just jump and press the B button, and I would get from 2 to 3 Nympho drops. And as many of you know from playing the game on Master Ninja mode, each of the Devil Way mushrooms that you would have to ordinarily buy just to get one magic use on your key gauge cost $6,000. So what I got was, when I was getting 2, that was $12,000, profit. And the one time that I got 3, that was $18,000 in profit just for dealing with these flying demons. So that's kind of what I'm doing over here. I'm kind of just doing a variety of things, just charging. All you need to do is just jump when you're near the guys, and kind of when you're facing them, and get an on-landing charge. It's very, very crucial to get the on-landing charge to minimize the time you're waiting to fire off your arrow UT. But since I knew that I had the orbs to fall back on in the previous area, the chest, I'm just going to get those later and just kind of do a variety of things like I mentioned here. There's not that many of these guys, and normally I speed this footage up, but I wanted to talk. I want to talk this whole level, so it's going to be a very extensive level, and probably the highlight of the guide as far as imparting the most knowledge to people and stuff like that. And just like a feature-length movie. It's probably going to be over 2 hours if I know how thorough I want to be with this whole situation. So we have flying demons here, and then the next enemies we're going to be facing are some archers across the way, followed by some mages. So just keep going around. You have an infinite supply of arrows over here, as you can obviously see. And it's just a lot. There are so many opportunities in this level and in the next level to get a ton of money. So fully take advantage of that, especially if you don't have too much money, because I think I have around almost 200,000 in essence, and that doesn't seem like much, not by my standards anyway, but when in view of the fact that I have all 3 of my weapons upgraded to level 3, that's a pretty big deal. So now I'm just going around here shooting arrows, trying to get some Nympho drops maybe. Oh yeah, I was trying to get health drops here actually. That's what I was looking for. I remember that pretty distinctly. And it's pretty generous with the health and Nympho drops. It really is. But if you do want to get your 490 per kill, what you need to do is do a UT. But the thing with that is, you do take risk. To get that UT going, it takes a while, even with an on-landing arrow UT. And there's other guys throwing flames at you, so it's hard to be safe up here. So there's a Nympho drop right there. There's $6,000 profit. And I decided to just cast it at that guy because I know that I am not going to need magic anytime soon. Plus, I know that there's there's 2 more boxes with Nympho orbs in the stage. So bear that in mind, and definitely go back and save it. A lot of the times I'm saving out of sheer worry that my console is going to freeze, as it does daily. In fact, it just froze earlier today. Sometimes it freezes twice if I'm lucky. or rather unlucky, I guess you'd say. So come back over here, and the thing about these archers is that if they knock you off with one of their flaming arrows and then you land down at the save point, they unspawn. And if you want that kind of scenario to play out, by all means do it. In fact, don't even worry about getting knocked off. Just jump down, save it. Then when you come back here, I guarantee these guys will disappear on you. But there's 4 of them, and with almost $500 in essence per kill, you can almost get $2,000 in essence. So I'm just standing in this corner waiting for the other guy. They seem to kind of just walk in this area all the time, so I really don't have to move too much. So that's the last guy right there. Now I'm going to go back and save it again. I know it's the last guy because... Oh, excuse me, it wasn't the last guy. Sometimes it's hard for me to know which is the last guy when my health is already filled up all the way and I can't see any regeneration coming in. So mages are next. And do you recall in the last chapter how I told you that they turn more aggressive if you have the camera turned on them? So I'm going to utilize that function over here. So I'm just going to do the XXY move, sunder him. Now sometimes when you're doing the OT, you're going to, out of necessity, the camera will turn and look at the other guys because there's 2 mages per platform up here. So these guys yield a ton of money. 1,050 per kill is a lot of money for a UT kill. So definitely try to do that if you can. And the next section, I'm actually redoing this chapter, and at nearly 2 hours for this video. I'm not sure how long it's going to end up being. You might think I'm a little crazy, but I defeated the test of Valor, and I just wasn't happy with how I performed. I didn't have enough practice, so this run is going to be a lot more practiced and polished. So I'm going to show you a couple ways of dealing with the situation, but before you do anything, you want to save it. Now, just jump down here, dash away once, then do your flying bird flips up here. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. This first way is safer. It's definitely safer. It's a little cheaper, I would say, as far as kind of cowardly, but it's more lucrative because if you stay up here, the IS ninjas are never going to chase you, and you can get arrow UTs on these guys, and they're not going to unspawn if, for instance, you need to go back to that course who has the arrows to grab. It's just tedious because it doesn't seem like it's easy to hit these guys unless they're stopped. Imagine these guys being on kind of like a train track. They'll go on a track and then stop and then go the other way and kind of go in an arc. And then when the last guy is on the map, he'll just run into the wall out of stupidity in a straight line. So it's easy to kill him, but harder to kill these guys. So what I wanted to do was at least go through like 15 of my arrows just to show you that you can do this if you want to. You can even go up higher and shoot these guys, but the angles don't work out as well as they do here. It's just that you've got to... The situation here is that you need to get as close to the ledge as you can, to the edge of it. And the closer you are to the edge, the more chance you can hit these guys, but then conversely, the more chance they can hit you. So if you are getting stuck by an IS shuriken, just block, and it won't take that much away. But I think when the counter gets to 15, I'm just going to jump down and fight these guys. But I did want to show both strategies to deal with the situation. If you're coming to this level with not very much money and you need a lot of money for the test of Valor, I'm just trying to show everybody as much information as I possibly can in this chapter and in this whole guide in general. Because when I did this guide a few months ago, I wasn't able to showcase everything that I found on a level like this. So just a couple of guys. Oh yeah, every time you get a kill, you are going to have to drag the essence up to you. So just hold the Y button long enough so that you see the orb coming to you, but not so long that you charge, or rather you absorb the essence to expedite a charge and it comes into you. You only get about 15 to 20% of the money, so you definitely want to take full advantage of the fact that you can drag essence. So I got a couple kills right there. I'm going to have to drag the essence. See how I'm holding it just long enough so that I'm not charging an attack. So that's that. Now I'm just going to jump down here and face these guys. The wind info works really well on these guys. I don't think that the when Nimpo ever kills these guys, unless you have it on level 3 and if you're like right next to these guys. But it definitely sunders limbs. Sunders a hell of a lot of limbs. So, okay, so I'm using the dragon, the Falcon's talons, and I think I said something wrong in the last video. You can't kill the. You see the move that I did right there? I killed that guy in one fly swallow / Azuna drop combo. But these are the normal IS ninjas. When we do the test of Valor, we're going to be facing not only undead IS ninjas, but undead mages. And the undead mages can be killed with one fly swallow Azuna drop. But these guys, they take 2, even with the level 3 strength of the Falcon's talons. So it's a tough trial. It really is. It's challenging, but it's not like impossible. It's just that I need more practice with it. So hopefully, when I get there, I'll be able to own it up and show you how to own it up. So there's the grains of spiritual life. Now we're going to do our flying bird flips up here, and you definitely want to save it afterwards. But I'm not going to run back and save it just to spare you guys some time. Now we're going to cross the cable. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to restock on my arrows. It is possible after you drop off the cable on the other side, it is possible to go all the way back to the store. I don't demonstrate it here, but I do in my other guide, so check my playlist to see how to do that. Now, when we jump down here, you're going to spawn the first archer when you drop down. So when your feet hit the pavement, then the guy spawns. I missed the on-landing charge, and looks like I got a beheading on that guy. So for the most, until I get to the save point, I'm going to be sundering limbs. Now you see the way I have him now when he doesn't have an arm. He's no threat except at melee range. He's no threat when he has no arm, so you can just kind of go away from him and then charge a UT and then wait till he gets closer to you. When these guys are a threat is when they lose a leg, which I think happens over here. So you see how he lost a leg right there? When they're in that kind of position, see how the guy was just about to shoot a flaming arrow at me. They don't shoot a flaming arrow at you when they lose an arm, but they do when they do that attack when they lose a leg. So there's really no way to grind for money off them when you've seen that they've lost a leg. So I stand back in this corner to get off attacks. So there he is, lost a leg again. So I have no choice but to OT him. Or just finish him off with a flying swallow. So now I had ample time to charge an attack over here. And these are all archers who just charge you every time. So I like to stay back in this corner, like I mentioned, to have sufficient time to get a charge. If it doesn't look like I'm getting enough time for a charge, then I just counterattack or just try to sunder a limb. So we saved it right there. And now this box over here will contain bats, or it will contain $1,000. Sometimes I just get sick of manipulating a chest like this because, yes, it's 1,000, but the bats, I know how to deal with the bats so I don't get hit, but you don't really get very much either way. 1,000 is not much in the grand scheme of things, but it is more than like a couple of yellow orb drops, admittedly, and you should take full advantage of this game. So when we come down here, we have I think we have 4 and 4. 4 IS ninjas and then 4 Van Gelfs, but you don't have to fight them at the same time. So here I'm doing fly swallow Azuna drops and guillotine throws. And we have 2 items down here, one of which is a journal and one of which is a herb of spiritual life. I'll show you where the spawn for the Van Gelfs occurs. Those items right there, they're all they are reading material. There's no achievement for collecting all of them, but you might as well get them. I get them. I don't really. I've actually read them. They're pretty interesting. So I'm gonna go over here because going the other way may spawn these guys. So I think I actually over jumped the tripwire point, and now we have only 4 Van Gelfs until the next phase. Which is, it's not as hard as it is in Sigma 2, believe you me, because I've done this level so hard. And also, this whole fight over here with the IS Ninja is considerably easier than the Sigma 2 fight. But I don't really want to talk about that game since we're not playing that game. But sometimes comparisons are necessary to get perspective. So one guy left, and I was trying to get a UT on this guy. I was successful. Nope, missed. I don't know. That really, really irks me to no end to miss those. So I think right now I was trying to wait for him to do his flame breath, and he did it, and of course I missed again. I don't know why. I missed again 3 times in a row. I think I missed even more times. I think this took me several tries to do, and since I'm redoing this level, I want to just get through it as efficiently as I can and without dying so many times. I think the more you struggle and the more you're trying to do well, the more times you just miss those charges. It's really bad. So now we're going over here, and I want to keep all the cutscenes in this level. Just to try something different this time around. I won't do it every time. But now we have a demon spawn emerging from this hole in the ground. I call these guys demon spawns because that's what my Prima official guide for the game lists these guys at in the section's bestiary. So these are actually, they're gold Vangelfs, but they're called demon spawns in my book, and they are so deadly. If they jump on you right there, you're dead. But they are, as deadly as they are, they're very lucrative. They give you twice as much money as the purple Vangelfs, meaning that since the purple Vangelfs give us 700, these guys give you 1,400 per UT kill. So you really need to be kind of I would not take too many unnecessary risks over here. Although sometimes I simply can't help it because I'm greedy with collecting essence. I did not want to have to use that healing item, nor did I want to have to use the grains of spiritual life a little bit further into this fight, but it was one of those instances where I knew I probably could die because I took some more damage. I'm not sure what happened. I think I got grabbed again. And it's just, there comes a point when you say, I don't want to lose any more progress. There's a mischarge again. And when you're playing, you're going to have to assess your risk factor on a case-by-case basis with every fight. It's just like, do I want to take the risk of getting 700 for a UT kill, or do I want to possibly get killed because I don't have too much life and these guys are going to pounce on me? So we have Vangelfs here, and we also have some Vangelfs below in the sewer, and I'll be showing you a great way to manipulate the whole environment and get a UT kill on every single Vangelf. So don't worry if you... Another miss. I don't know how many times I've missed. I think I've missed at least half a dozen times since that save point. It's ridiculous. And believe, another miss. Gosh, I really don't understand this missing charges stuff. I don't understand it. It seems to happen when you really want it to connect. When you could care less, it doesn't happen. But such is life. I mean, the same kind of things happen in life sometimes. I did a charge there, kind of a semi-blind faith charge, because I knew the enemies weren't close to me and I could get off a charge. And I wasn't looking at the enemies, so they weren't. Their aggression intensity wasn't at full force as it normally is. These Vangelfs are really not that hard. I mean, like one press of the X button, at most 2, sometimes 3 if you can't really get the things to connect. There's a good opportunity whenever they're doing that flame breath. Definitely jump away, charge and attack, and get your 700 per essence kill. So now we're going to... You don't have to examine the rubble here, but I do anyway. We're going to jump down and save it. Now we have more Vangelfs. And I wasn't able to do... What you're going to see next is something I wasn't able to do in my other guide. The reason I fly swallow toward that guy is because I was doing a wind run and it auto-targets enemies. So... get used to that kind of frustration when you're trying to get up this ladder. I wasn't able to showcase the strategy last time, and it's a shame because it's a really good strategy. I never saw it anywhere, but I said to myself, let me see if I can get up this ladder, and I want to see just how flexible these Vangelfs are, and it turns out they're very flexible. You are going to need the Dragon Sword to extend your dash across the way. That's the only way you can get across, by doing the Dragon Sword Fly Swallow. So if you just like collect your essence and then just kind of go back and forth between platforms, you can even go on the other platforms, which I think I'm going to do now. And you'd really be surprised how much vertical reach these guys have. So I'm charging an attack right now, waiting for the Vangelfs to arrive, thinking to myself just how awesome I am because I'm getting 700 per essence kill. Okay, so it looks like another guy's going to hop. I knew the guy would jump up here. There is one point on near the save point on the opposite platform where the save point is, where the Vangelfs, they can't really make it, but you can't hit them either, so it's kind of a catch-22. Here's a box of orbs. You might as well get it. There's going to be another one of those towards the end of the level, and there's really no need to use them right now, but you might as well get them. So I took out a bunch of foes here. At least I got 2 of them gone. And looks like one more guy left, and then if I get a UT on this guy, which I did just pulled that one off. That was lucky. I killed every one of those guys with the UT. Now over here, jump off. There's going to be 3 Vangelfs. Do the same trick. I found this out just because I was in that kind of a mode. Let me go up the ladder again. Let me see if he could squeeze through this little hole, and guess what? He can't. So a lot of the times when I'm sniping too, I'm being very patient and just waiting for the enemy to stop and go to where I know he's going to end up for a moment. It's much easier to hit an enemy who's just standing in one spot than moving, especially the IS ninjas. They're very hard to hit. So here's the second one, just kind of he's jumping up and forth, jumping up and down. Don't be mistaken and don't think that you can't kill these guys. What I want to mention now is the upgrades. We're going to get a Jewel of the Demon Seal, and I'm going to say without any hesitation that you should definitely apply it to the Art of the Windblades. Now, if we were playing Sigma 2, I would probably advise you, because in that game you would only have the Inferno and the Piercing Void, I would definitely advise you in that situation to upgrade to the Piercing Void level 2. The thing is, the Piercing Void really helps out with the Armadillo boss fight in Sigma 2, but since you don't have Incendiary Shurikens in Sigma 2, and you do here, and they're extremely effective, Incendiary Shurikens are much better than using the Piercing Void, although the Void works pretty well, but you can get by with it not being at full strength, and actually we might have it at full strength because I'm going to be doing all the tests of Valor. So I would highly recommend that you save it over here. There's a little awkward edit right there because I went back out of sequence, sorry about that. But definitely upgrade the wind blades. So equip the Lunar and jump off, and then do a 360 UT. That was modded on landing charge right there. So once you see him jump up, immediately release that charge because he will pounce on you and you're dead. So he's slayed. Now we have there's 3 more over here. Now normally 2 will rise up, and you can just snipe them from over here. I have experienced cases where these guys have simply just leapt over to this platform over here. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want these guys to come over to this platform and then fall down. Like you'll shoot them and then they'll fall down into the water below, because then they will drown and you won't get any credit for the kill. You'll lose out on getting 1400 in essence. So that 360 UT that yielded 1400 in essence. And these arrow UTs, they also yield 1400 in essence, because if you'll recall, I told you that the essence distributions are the same no matter what you do, no matter if it's a Dragon Sword UT, an arrow UT, or an Incendiary Shuriken UT, you always get the maximum amount of money. So this guy is spazzing out as he is wont to do every single time I encounter him. And then there's one more Dragon Demon, but he never comes up, and I'm going to show you where he is. He's right over here. The thing about this guy is you can't snipe this guy from up there. So just quickly take him out. Don't worry about trying to get 1400 from him. So we're going to get some more arrows now. There's Van Gelfs to the left. We're not going to deal with those guys. First, we're going to get some bats killed. It's hard to tell you if you should do this. If you're following my guide and you want to kill everybody, do this. But if you are worried about getting killed, don't do this, because it's really not monetarily advantageous to do this, and you're going to get hit quite a lot. So you don't want to stand up there and deal with these bats. The only time you can safely slay a batch of bats is when they burst out of a treasure box. As I don't think they actually do it, but getting those Nimpo drops are definitely worth it. So all you need to do is just stay in the water. And then press when you surface, press the Y button a couple times, and then he'll jump down and let your health regenerate, collect any blue essence orbs, and just be very, very safe. I can't tell you how safe you have to be. Now this box up here, it either has money or bats. The first time I think it was a couple days ago, I was doing this chapter. I got the bats. If you get the bats out, press Y continually to do that move right there, because you're not going to get hit by the bats if you're pressing Y constantly. That's why you saw me do it right there, actually. So now do a wall run over here, and then we're going to be dealing with the Van Gelfs. Okay, the Van Gelfs. What you don't want to do is go down the left area and then go save it, because we have two archers over there where a crystal skull is, but I've already gotten it, so it's not going to be over there. It's the area where the fifth or sixth life of the gods is. You're going to see it. I'm going to show you which one it is when I get it. So what I would advise doing over here is I would freely use Nimpo over here. There's no real reason to not use Nimpo over here, because we're going to get there's another chest that has a refill of Nimpo before the end of the stage, and there's not really any sections after this that require Nimpo. So it's okay to spawn those archers to the left and then unspawn them, especially if you don't want to take too much damage. But they do yield almost 500 a kill, so you really should take advantage of them, because they're not hard to slay whatsoever. This is not too hard of a fight for me normally. It's just that I always try to get greedy. And when I say greedy, I just mean I always try to get those charges off, and I get attacked, and I get punched, and the charge gets broken, and I get damaged severely. It's harder to do UT kills on these guys than simply to go up to them and practice evading on these guys. You can parry their attacks too, but I don't really mess around with parrying fiends. I don't really find much enjoyment in doing so. But I was almost dead over here, and I knew I had to really play it safe. That was a really close call. I could have got sent to the save point way back where. But most of the time when I'm getting killed, it's because pure greed, just pure American greed, rearing its ugly head. So again, don't go too far over there. What we need to do is go to the save point first, and then kill the archers, because if you don't do well in the archers, then you could just let them kill you, and then we could start them again. No Ninja Gaiden game, to my knowledge, has ever had a reload from checkpoint option. In fact, I know that for certainty. None have ever had that feature. Anyway, so you see right there, I did a UT. Took one of the guys out. Okay, so that was one kill. There may be three guys over here, but I think there's only two. What you're seeing me do is I'm trying to get an on-landing charge, and then facilitating an ET, which would handicap these guys. And then if they were in that status, well, what they would do is they would run over to me. They would do wall runs over to me, and I could just stand over here and prepare a charge. That's what I'm going to be doing on the section after we deal with all the garbage bugs and we approach the test of Valor. I'll definitely be because it's hard. If you don't know how to do arrow UT kills and handicap enemies, you definitely need to. It's something you need to learn how to do. That's how I needed to learn how to do it too myself. by watching other people do it, because I had no idea how it worked. And it's a learning process. It's not really cheating if you're looking at other people's guides to help you and learn from them, because it's an educational process. Okay, so we got the Life of the Gods. I believe that was number 6, but don't quote me on that. Again, if you need to know where every single item is, you'll have to look at my other guide. It's on my playlist. I only have one other guide for Ninja Gaiden, so you should be able to see it very easily. So save it. Now 2 more Vangels to kill. So you could definitely try your hand at these guys as many times as you want to until you get 2 UT kills on these guys. I got that one right there, but the second one was the situation was a little bit too precarious for me to get the second one off. I really hope no one thinks that I'm being cheap by doing these strategies, but this is a level where money comes into play more than any other level, because you need a lot of resources here. So here's another opportunity where you can get more money than you ordinarily would. So this chest, it'll either give you 1,000 or it'll give you these ghost fish. Now, when you get the ghost fish, stand still until they stop moving. Then do your UT. If you try to hold down the Y button before they all stop moving, they're going to bite you, and you're not going to be able to get into the groove of doing this. So, okay, so this is an alternative to another way to do this section. You're going to see that I get shoved off here by the arrow UT, but I wanted to jump off when I got to the other side. It just worked out a little bit. It kind of worked out against me, because I got shot off instead of me just jumping off without taking any damage. So we have 3 IS ninjas over here and 1 archer. So I'm just going to charge attacks on these guys, because first of all, I know I'm going to take less damage. It's safer to do so. And second of all, why not get more money if you can? If you know how to get more money, why not manipulate the system? I'm not going to be doing it the entire game, of course, but I'm just showing you the basics of how to think outside the box and play a little bit more intelligently with money in mind. So I think I got a double kill right over here with a auto charged arrow UT right there, and then it's just the archer left. So again, I almost got 2,000 in essence for these 4 kills. And I only took a little bit of damage, whereas I could have gone over there, meleeed with all the enemies, probably taken even more damage than I would have, and got a lot less money. So now we're going to the door up here. Make sure you save it before you do this. Open the door, jump off. You're going to see that I have the lunar equipped. Jump down, try to get an on landing charge. Now we're going to have 5 IS ninjas jumping down here, 1 at a time though, so it's very manageable. And it's conceivable that you could get a UT kill on all of these guys. 1 right after the next. Although every time I do this, I get like 4 of 5. I get 4 UT kills, and then the last guy, he jumps down too soon. But this is just a tried and true method here of working this situation. The first time I ever played this game, I jumped right into the fray, and I got butchered. So this is a game that just it owns you the first time you play it, and probably the first 100 tries you play it. But I missed that time. Okay, but the more you play it, the more you own the game, the more you make it your bitch, and it's so rewarding to play a game and do well. Okay, so we killed the IS ninjas. Now all we're doing is standing on this side. There's no threat of getting hit by anything other than shurikens, so I'm not even aiming over here. I'm just letting the game auto aim at these guys. You are going to have to drag the essence to you if the essence is reaped from an enemy on one of the upper platforms. So I'm just standing here, just kind of observing where the enemies are, and then just having the game auto charge. All you do is just press the B button and hold it down. I'm waiting. I'm looking at my health bar to see when it's regenerating, which tells me that the battle's over. Another thing that tells me the battle's over is that that orb, which I would ordinarily have to drag into my person, it just came into me. So you're going to have to equip the dragon sword over here. Jump down. Now go down the ladder, and then just go off and then go up. And then we're going to be manipulating this situation to our benefit again, getting 700 per kill over here on these Vangels by sniping them. And we're going to be sniping some IS ninjas in a subsequent battle after we deal with the area over to behind the fan in front of us, where there is a chest containing ghostfish and or money, and also an area where there's a course that has a grains of spiritual life. So you see the course right here that has the incendiary shurikens. You can get as many incendiary shurikens as you possibly want in this stage. But the caveat about that is it's kind of weird. There's one more. Okay, we just passed a store a moment ago. There's one more store right near the Test of Valor, but for whatever reason, the game makers decided that the player cannot purchase incendiary shurikens until Chapter 4. So you must pick up these incendiary shurikens before you go into the area where you can no longer return to this area. So I'm not really sure why they do that, but that's exactly how it works out. So you might as well take a bunch of free incendiary shurikens, which are $200 each and cost 6,000 to fully equip 30 in your arsenal. So this looks like we have a couple of guys left over here. But definitely the incendiary shurikens work well for the gauntlet of demon spawns before Gigadeath. They also aid in the Test of Valor. They also aid in the next section, the next chapter, that is. But just be aware that if you don't pick up any incendiary shurikens and you are desperate for them at the final save point, and then you try to go to the store thinking that you could just buy them, you cannot. Trust me, I've got into that predicament before, and I'm not going to get into that predicament again. So this looks like the last guy down here. The incendiary shurikens are so overpowered in this game. True, they don't work for everything, but it's just it's payback time once you get those. It seriously is. Now we can start throwing them at the IS ninjas who have been spamming those things at us this entire game up until now, and hell, they'll continue to do it until the very end of the game. But at least we can actually start using those, and they're very, very deadly and very strong. So it looks like that was the last foe, and now I'm going to go over here and pick up my ISs. So grab these incendiary shurikens right here. Now we're going to be destroying the fan blade, and there's no real set in stone way to do this next part. I mean, I tried to snipe these guys at first and just, look where I'm coming from, but you're kind of going in blind here. So, I mean, we have an infinite access to that course that has the incendiary shurikens, so you might as well make full advantage of those. So I like to take out a couple of guys over there and then try to get through the fan over here, and then we can... Down the way, we can see a couple of IS ninjas over there, so I'm going to equip the bow and arrow and try to take out a couple of these guys with arrow UTs. What happened, though, is one of the guys snuck up on me. I'm not sure where he came from. Oh, there, I just saw where he came from. He jumped down. So a lot of these sessions, I'm going to just keep in real time because I want to speak about them. So it looks like we got another guy up there, and he can be taken out with an arrow UT. I must say that when you're, I'll talk about it in a moment. The detection of when you hit enemies. So so for these guys, jump and stun them, and then get an on-landing charge and get an ET, and then that will take away their bow and arrow, and then they'll just walk to you at a snail's pace. If you don't get the on-landing charge, don't attempt to shoot them because you're not going to have enough time to set up your arrow. So see right there, even though I didn't hit him, when I got at least I got the ET going with the on-landing charge. So I said to myself, I might as well just throw incendiary shurikens, maybe pick up a couple of Nimpos or something from item drops or what have you. So I think that's the last guy. And now I'm going to go get the... it's this guy over here. So, you see right here, he's delimbed, and he can't shoot the arrow. So I'm going to try to do a UT on this guy. He got a little too close to comfort, but I still was able to take him out and get my 490 for that kill. Then I'm going to hop a dash across the way and get the grains of spiritual life. And then over here, I normally don't save it first because it's a long way back. It honestly is. So what I'm going to do is just take my chances. I don't know. It might only contain ghost fish and nothing else, because I think like the last 3 times I've done this, it's only been ghost fish. So you get about 5,000 in essence over here. So remember to open the box and then just wait for the ghost fish to stop moving completely, and then do your UT charge. And then the next phase is against some archers and IS ninjas. Normally I would speed this next footage up, but I wanted to talk about it and just talk about how some of these enemies work, their patterns work. So I'm gonna grab some more incendiary shurikens. You will need, if you don't have like 30 arrows, don't go over here and spawn these enemies, because if you go back, they'll unspawn. Like if you go to the store. Like the store is right across the way, like right across the other platform. If you go over there, a lot of these guys will unspawn, so that's not what we want. So now I'm aiming with arrow UTs here, and you see how like this upper guy, he always seems to like wind up like right there. And I got him. It was my first shot and I got him. Okay, so always watch out for that, because I don't understand why the flaming arrows take away so much health from the player, but that's the only guy from this vantage point right now. That's the only archer that can hit us. There's another archer on the other side, but he's completely his angle is way off, so he can't even. We won't even be able to see him, let alone hit him or worry about him hitting us. So patience is really a virtue over here. Just hold your arrow and just see where. Because periodically these enemies will just stop. It's only for a brief second, but you see how the guy just stopped right there against the wall? Now, that hit looked like I hit him, honestly. Now, that hit looked like I hit him too, but the hit detection is pretty poor when you're shooting arrows. I'm actually going to blame the game, because some of the times, like, I'm getting a direct hit on these guys, like right in their chest, and it's not even doing anything. Other times it feels like I'm shooting like somewhere near them, and by all intents and purposes it looks like I clearly missed, but they still give me the kill. So you don't even really have to be concerned with accuracy when they're not even giving you kills for being accurate, and then they're giving you kills for being inaccurate. So it's also easier to kill some when they're in a bunch, obviously. This guy is look how this guy's on a track right here. He goes from left to right, and then he kind of just stops at the wall for a moment, so that's exactly what I'm looking for. And then you should be able to take all of these guys out without wasting all of your arrows, although it's tough, because I wouldn't even recommend trying to shoot these guys when they're moving. You really need to get them to stop for a moment, because they will stop for a moment. They're not always moving. You just have to realize where they're stopping, and then hold the red dot, the reticule, over the area where you know that they're going to stop. Per their pattern, because they're on a track. They're like on an arch, like I mentioned before, or an arc, rather. So I mean, occasionally I will turn desperate and start shooting them when they're moving. So like that shot right there, that looked like I legitimately hit that guy, but nothing doing. It's pretty bad, but at least you could do this. And I would definitely recommend trying to do this. It's going to take you a few minutes, but it's worth it, because you're going to get 490 a kill, and that should be incentive enough for you to do this trick. It's not really a trick. It's just smart thinking, and the nice thing about this is that these guys never rush you. Not up here anyway. If you do go down below and you go through where the fan blade was, they will come up here and start messing with you. But for the most part, they just, they're on their track, they're moving around, they really don't know what to do. It's kind of funny, but that humor kind of wears off when you're missing a lot of shots over here. So it looks like we just have this one guy left, and I think I may have missed him every single time until I had no arrows left. So in a situation like that, since I don't want to unspawn him, and I don't want to unspawn the other archer or archers that are on the other side, I'm not going to go back to the store. What I'm going to do is start throwing dagger UTs, do UTs with the incendiary shurikens. Oh, right there. I distinctly remember that. I dropped the controller on the ground. You see that I unlocked the gamer picture for beating Master Ninja mode, so there really shouldn't be any dispute about, you know, what difficulty mode this is on. It's nice that way. There really cannot be any argument just based on the costume that I'm wearing. That silences every argument that could possibly ever rear its ugly head on this comment section and on this internet video. I love that. It was that way in Ninja Gaiden Sigma, where the enemies were, whatever difficulty you were on, you had different enemies, so you couldn't dispute that either. Anyway, so we got a couple of brain dead individuals up there. See that one guy is just running. They always do that when it's like the second or the last guy. All they do is just run in a straight line. They don't know what to do. So I'm gonna take this guy out. Missed him right there, of course. I have no arrows now, so I'm just gonna switch to daggers and do an incendiary shuriken UT. You still get 490 for that. When you do a UT, he throws 3 daggers. When you do an ET, he throws 2. That's just the way it works. So now I'm gonna go back and get daggers. You're not gonna have to. You don't need to go all the way back to where the course was that had the arrows, because we're gonna get some more arrows near the save point. So the next thing we're going to be dealing with is some bats, which are optional. You don't have to defeat the bats. In fact, you're probably going to get hurt more than you are going to get anything good going for your game. But I'm sure many of you know who have played this game that once you get to the second to the last save point, they put a couple of IS ninjas just kind of ambush you and. Fool me once, shame on me. Or fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So that's just how you have to, when you do your deliberation, when you mentally deliberate what's going on in a game like this. Sure, they fooled you one time, shame on them. But if you ever get fooled again, that's not their fault. That's on you from here on out. So. Okay, so we cleared those bats, but once we surface, we're going to have some more bats. So remember, all you do is just go up there, press the the Y button a couple times, then submerge, and then just get all your items. Looks like I got a nice item drop right there. But I'm almost at the verge of death, so what I'm going to have to do is use the Nimpo very liberally when I get to the save point, so I can just take out the 2 IS ninjas. So a couple bats left, almost dead, got my health regenerated. There's the course with the arrows on it, so now I'm just going to jump over here, try to do a charge. Looks like I didn't cross the tripwire point. Now I'm just going to have to throw the Art of the Wind Blades. Took care of that guy, took care of that guy. That was a pretty close call, but normally I'm pretty comfortable within my own skill level as a gamer. So this next part, bullshit, but we're going to deal with it in the best way we can. So there are 2 archers across the way, and then there's 1 archer up to the right. You can see him right now. I did a ET right there, and I took care. So the 2 guys on the left, only one of them has the ability to shoot flaming arrows at me. So, so when I did this ET, of course the guy without the flaming arrows, he got targeted, and it just goes like that. So I UT arrowed the other guy, And looks like the other guy was gone. Now jump across here, and you're going to have one Van Gelf, so fall back. And don't look at these guys. Just do arrow UTs right at them. Well, I guess you could look at this guy because he doesn't have a single brain in his body. If you want to, you can go back and save it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to listen for their footsteps over here and then fall back. And then what happened to me is that I couldn't connect with the platform and I fell down. Don't worry about that you're going to unspawn enemies by falling down. You won't. But basically, ready your arrows. We're going to go over here, and we're going to face these guys, and we're going to just shoot at them and not look at them, and then that way they're not going to shoot their projectiles at us. The way you know that you've killed a guy, all you need to do is listen, and by now you should know the sound effect of an enemy kind of just burning up and getting consumed. You are going to have to drag essence across the way, so all you need to do is I would only shoot like I wouldn't overshoot it. I wouldn't overshoot arrows over here just in case you accidentally absorb essence and expedite your next charge and thereby not get all your full money over here. So all I'm really doing here is I'm just listening for that one sound effect that tells me that a body is getting consumed up and is dying. So you probably won't be able to hear it on this guide here. It's because the decibel level is lower, so I could have my voice more prominent in the guide. So this guy is gone. Well, he will be gone. And now you definitely want to save it. So I'm going to jump down and save it. Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I edited that out. This fight's hard up here. And it's hard just because we don't want to unspawn the bugs. The bugs are a source of probably about 30,000 in essence. So jump down here. Spawn the bugs and the Van Gelfs. The biggest problem I always have over here is just jumping up here. Let's see if it happens. Yeah, the bugs, and then I think I see how you wind path off the enemies. Of course, I don't want to do that. I'm just trying to get up here in a frantic rush to get up here, get an on-landing charge, do a UT. Do not get greedy doing UTs here. Also, the worst thing you could do here besides being greedy is fall back too far. You'll unspawn the bugs, and pretty much that means you're throwing away 30,000 plus essence from those garbage bugs. So like if you killed all these guys and then went over to the save point, you would unspawn all the bugs. I've done it before. You don't want to do that. This is hard because I don't know. Sometimes I feel like if I fall back too much, even though I won't unspawn all the bugs, I'll unspawn some of them. So I like to just stay here and not fall back too much. That's why I'm not really charging many attacks unless I could get it in. Of course, I missed that charge right there. So basically all I'm doing is pressing the X button a couple times, sundering limbs, doing OTs, and then repeating ad nauseum. But this really is not too... It's not easy. For some reason, I just don't know. I think it's the environment, just the awkward place that we're on, knowing that, you know, we can unspawn enemies, and just not having enough room to work with, getting thrown off like that, then trying to scramble up here again. Fortunately, I made it, and even more fortunately, I got it in a UT. Bottom line, though, don't get greedy up here. And it's hard not to get greedy. I know the feeling. Anyway, so that's the last guy. Now we're going to go down here and get a lot of essence. So these guys were on Ninja Gaiden Sigma, and we grinded for these guys. Right there, I was just... So I had just a little bit under 260,000. I'll flash the screen when this whole session's over with, just to see how much money. I think it was about 30,000 in essence that I got. These guys are so deadly, though. I cannot... it's so disproportional to what an enemy like this should be dealing damage to. And it's not even that, like, a whole bunch of them are ganging up on you, but if that happens, count on being dead. Just count on it. But like just one attack of these garbage bugs, and I would probably be at the verge of death. Just one claw attack of theirs, and I would be dead. So you have a lot of room to work with over here, and just focus on doing UTs. And when I finish a UT, I'm guarding. I'm keeping my guard up, and then I'm evading because I don't want to get jumped on. Because a lot of the times when you're finishing a UT, even though you're doing that flame finishing move, some of these garbage bugs just won't get killed because you're not connecting with them all the way. See this? See, I had a garbage bug. He jumped at me right there. Pretty much, you can go. I'm kind of staying in this area here, but you can go anywhere you want to, provided you don't go up the stairs, and just kill these guys. So we're fast approaching the test of Valor. So it's nice to have a bunch of bugs here to kill to get a lot of money. So I'll be walking you through the test of Valor. It's not easy, trust me. On Master Ninja mode, even on Mentor mode, it's tough. But I did defeat it last night, and now I'm going to be doing it again. It's not that I'm a glutton for punishment or anything like that. It's just because I know I could do better. I know I could, and I know I could waste fewer items too. So it looks like this guy's the last guy right here. Take him out. I'm going to flash the screen, see how much money I ended up with. 274. So how much was that? I don't know. Maybe that was only about 25,000. But hell, that's half the price for Talisman of Rebirth. So come on up here now. Watch out for the two archers on the other side by the store. And it's the same deal. Stun, on landing charge, ET, dismember. And then they'll come over here every single time. Prepare your charge. Get your 490. That's the rule of thumb for this. So we took out one of the archers. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other archer. We're going to jump to the left, stun him in midair, and then get an on-landing charge. If we miss the on-landing charge, we're going to evade away and try the whole thing over again. So you see how the ET robbed him of his flaming arrow? So now I'm just waiting for him to come on over here so I could UT him. The next set of enemies are IS ninjas. There are 4 of them, but I think I got fewer than 4 for some reason. I think I may have got 2 or 3. I'm not really sure. I'll have to see the footage played back over here. So, so just kind of carefully go over here and watch how I spawn them, and then fall back immediately. Do a flying swallow over here, and then charge. You should have enough time to do a UT over here, just as this guy's running, because they'll run up the steps and then they'll run to you, but they're not going to be throwing incendiary shurikens because they're in their running mode. So I'm going to throw him back, try to get another UT going over here. So that was the second guy I killed, and I think that was the last guy. I'm not really sure because I know I was charging over here and nobody showed up. So it looks like I only got 2 IS ninjas spawned right there, but trust me, normally it is 4. There's 2 sets of those guys. So at this point, I probably figured to myself that, you know, the other 2 guys aren't coming, so let me progress with this battle. This next section's tough. It really is. So we have an archer. You see where the test of Valor is? We have an archer over there. Then we have an archer over there who I believe I just delimbed. So he's going to be walking over to me now, and now I'm waiting for him to arrive, and I'm preparing a charge for him. Don't underestimate how much those flaming arrows take away from you. If you're not blocking, it's going to take away probably half your life. It's things like that that really irritate me because, I don't know, I think an enemy attack should take away more than just a standard flaming arrow, but that's just me. Anyway, so I have my, oh, he didn't die. Of course he didn't die, so now I'm going to go over here for safety and just let him come to me and do my UT, because I'm going to need to spend a lot of money both before and after the test of Valor. So I hate when they just stand there. I don't think I was even able to get a UT. Nope, I killed him off with an ET. Probably got about 200 something money. So now it looks like, I think there's 2 archers. Yeah, you see how there's 2 archers now over there where the test of Valor is. Sometimes I was using the Inferno over here, and the Inferno just was not reaching those guys to the left. So it looks like we only have the 2 guys to the left. So I'm going to make a run for it. I'm going to dash, get my iframes, And there's going to be more archers like right here, but don't worry about it. First, get over here to safety. And I think if you kill one, then you're going to spawn another one like in the center of this area here. So I got tagged right there. Decided to throw an Inferno because I was tired of losing progress. I was not disposed to save it currently. So you see how this guy, he spawned like right over here? I think I got tagged over here. I was curious as to who was hitting me, and it was this guy here. So jump, stun, ET, on landing charge, and then let him come to me. I think I even equipped the Lunar because I know that this guy, he always stops in his tracks over here, and it annoys the hell out of me. See, he's just standing there like a jackass, so I'm going to do a 360 UT and follow that up with a Nizuna drop. One more guy left over here. Jump, stun. And he's divested of his projectile weapon. Now I'm going to do another 360 UT, followed by the Azuna drop. Now we have just one more guy over there where the Test of Valor area is. So, is there? Yeah, one more guy. So I'm just going to jump, stun, get an on landing charge, ET, and then let him come over to me. As simple as that. Then we're going to go to the save point, buy stuff, and then participate in the Trial of Valor. Okay, this is the first Trial of Valor that you encounter in the game. It's on Chapter 3. So, the enemies that we have in front of us here are mages and IS ninjas in their undead forms. Meaning that if they want to, they can grab you at any time and do a suicide grab. And that doesn't actually destroy them, but that makes you have to go kill them and you don't get any credit for the kill. So the best way to deal with this situation is to come here with the Falcon's Talons up to level 3 and the Wind Blades up to level 2. And in the beginning of this whole fight, all I'm doing is going around and using the Wind Blades. I'm not even aiming. What we want to do is sever all of the limbs of everybody so that everybody except the mages are just crawling around on the map. And then what we're going to be doing is systematically taking out the mages, then the IS ninjas, and then the Grey ninjas. So this is a very, very hard trial. Okay, so it looks like I exhausted all my magic. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going around in a circle and waiting for the mages to appear. Now, before earlier in the guide, I was recommending that you do to take out these guys with that particular move right there. You do the Wind Run via the Flying Swallow, via the Azuna drop, and the button combo for that. The Wind Run is where's my controller? The Wind Run is X and A, and then the Flying Swallow is Y. So you'd press X, A, and then Y. And then to do the Azuna drop when you're dangling with them in the air is XY. So you'd press XA, Y, XA, Y, XY. But I was experiencing a lot of problems here doing the Wind Run into the Flying Swallow. So for the majority of my attacks, all I do is just press forward and then the Y button, and then I press the XY button to do the Azuna drop. So you really need the Falcon's Talons up to level 3 here, but the whole problem here is that yes, we can take out the undead mages with one Fly Swallow Azuna drop, but it's going to take 2 Flying Swallow Azuna drops to take out the IS ninjas. So, and then once we're doing with the Grey ninjas, it'll be a different story. We're just going to be doing UTs to get a lot of our money back. So there's several ways you can handle this. You can come here, and this is what I did. I came here with every single item, a Talisman of Rebirth, and I also, in the course of this whole fight, I used a Lives of the 1,000 Gods, because that's the reward that you're going to get for this. I wanted to just use the Talisman of Rebirth and then abstain from using the Lives of the Thousand Gods, because I considered to myself that you can't just go buy a Lives of the Thousand Gods as you can just go buy a Talisman of Rebirth, even though the latter is rather expensive at $50,000. So, as a backup, I had equipped a Talisman of Rebirth. I didn't actually have to use it. But okay, so anyway, I don't know the count for the mages. I think there's about like 20 mages, and then like maybe 50 IS ninjas, and then maybe 50 Grey ninjas, or it could be something. I don't know if it's 50 for the IS ninjas and the Grey ninjas. Maybe it's 30. I just don't know. There's no counter. Even if I had the karma screen up, it wouldn't tell me the counter, like the number of enemies I killed. So there is a. This is the arena where you fight all of the tests of valor, and there is a mound that I frequently will like. And see this mound right over here? Where is it? There is a rise in the. It's like an island. It's over here somewhere. It's a good spot to stand if you just want to just block and just survey the environment. So, and you can't get tagged by incendiary shuriken. So what we got going here is we got mages. We're taking out the mages, and all of the IS ninjas and all of the Grey ninjas they're all crawling around in the middle of the screen. They're not much of a threat, and if you're moving constantly, you're not going to get tagged too often by the incendiary shurikens that the IS ninjas are throwing. So if you were to go over to that pile of bodies, see where all the crawlers are? If you were to go over there and slay one of the IS ninjas, then what you would have is an IS ninja chasing you, because the way this works is that you kill a mage. Okay, so it's kind of odd with the mages, but the mages are just going to be in like a pair every single time. But if once we take them out, what we're going to be doing is killing one of the IS ninjas, and then what's going to happen is that we're going to have an IS ninja respawn, and then he's going to be chasing us, then we're going to kill him, and then another one's going to respawn. The only problem is that you have to go into that pile and kill one of the IS ninjas to have them spawn. But for now, we're just going around the map, going around in a circle. And I'm not even using the wind run to go into the flying swallow, just because it doesn't seem to work very well. And a lot of the times you're going to try to do the flying swallow with this particular weapon, and he's not gonna even do the flying swallow. The reason for that, here's the null I was talking about. The reason that he doesn't do that is because you have to be somewhat close to him to even do it, because if you have the Dragon Sword equipped, for instance, you can do the Flying Swallow whenever you want to travel. But when you attempt to do the Flying Swallow with no enemies around with this weapon, the Falcon's Talons, he just doesn't even do the Flying Swallow. So you have to at least have the enemies somewhere around you. It works, but you have to be aware that sometimes it's going to fail, and you have to move out of the way very promptly. I was also experiencing several times where, okay, so it looks like all the mages are gone. The reason I switched to the Dragon Sword right there was because I don't trust the Falcon's Talons to do an OT. Now you see what I did right there? And notice this guy's not killed yet. It takes two. What I really like to do is have, okay, so you see how all the mages are gone? Now, it's just from here on out until we kill all of the IS ninjas. We're going to kill one IS ninja, and then every time we kill one, another one's going to spawn, a full one, not one of the crawlers. The crawlers are just going to be there, just hanging around. This is the best way to prevent you from fighting like everything at once. Otherwise, this is just madness. But damn, this is a very, very hard trial. I can't stress how hard this is. It takes a lot of practice. So whatever you do, don't like try to melee with these guys and block and counter, because they have their grab will take away about 3/4 of your life. It's an exploding grab. All of these enemies have exploding grabs because they're the undead versions. So it just goes on for a very long time, and I'm going to be narrating this whole thing. It's in real time, and sometimes when you get tagged by an incendiary shuriken, sometimes if you're in the water and you're guarding it, sometimes I feel like the water might nullify the explosion a little bit, but I'm not really too sure about that. So I'm kind of just going around letting him catch up a little bit so I can wind path off of him, because you get iframes for the wind path. Part of me really likes getting into the groove of the wind path, and then another part of me is kind of worried that the wind path isn't going to connect, but it normally does connect if you're doing it properly. So basically, if you do a fly swallow Azuna drop on these guys, it puts them into delimb status, but then they're still not dead, so there's still a problem. And I would just prefer to do another fly swallow Azuna drop rather than try to OT these guys and risk getting kamikaze grabbed. So there was a perfect example of what I like to do, even though it failed right there. Also, a lot of the times I fail to press the XY button to do the Azuna drop out of sheer nervousness. Just because there's so much going on, I'm constantly worried, and my brain just fails me because I'm scared. So this goes on for a while. Now, if I were to go over and kill one of the, you see the crawlers? If I were to go over there, let me scoot up a little bit. If I were to go over to the pile of crawlers and kill a gray ninja, then what would happen is I would have a gray ninja and an IS ninja chasing me, which is not preferable. You just want to face one guy at a time. So this gets a lot easier when it's just the gray ninjas, but for now we're just dealing with the IS ninjas. All the mages are out of the picture. Okay, also, since we're doing standard kills all the time, we're doing the fly swallow Azuna drop like twice. I like to do it twice in a row to just take these guys out. See right there? That's a standard kill. So the blue orbs you get blue orbs for doing standard kills, and standard kills, the Azuna drop is a standard kill, so frequently look around for blue orbs, because those are going to help you out immensely. So here's the null I was talking about again, and it just feels like some psycho's chasing you this whole time. If you get tagged by an incendiary shuriken, what you need to do if you're not nearby an enemy who might grab you, just stop in your tracks and just let it detonate and guard the whole, and just let it blow up, but make sure you keep your guard up. That's the way you can minimize the damage you take here. So sometimes I come down off the fly swallow Azuna drop, the first one that is, then I guillotine throw. But I'm just not that comfortable with this particular weapon. I'm getting more comfortable with it as I use it more, but sometimes I just feel like the obliteration technique fails me sometimes. I just don't know why that is. And also sometimes I think it has to do if you're somersaulting these guys on dry land as opposed to the water, then they might not get delimbed if it's in the latter case. So this is just going to go on for a while. Might as well talk about the tests of Valor themselves. There's 9 tests of Valor, this being the first one in Chapter 3. They're on Chapters 3 through 11, and you get a reward every single time. If you die, though, you don't take anything you've earned. You have to at least defeat the trial to take it with you, because otherwise you're just going to get killed. So on several of these tests of Valor, you get lives of 1,000 gods. My guidebook lists the, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So it looks like there's a potential to get, out of all these tests of valor, out of all 9 of them, there looks like you can get 3 lives of 1,000 gods. Several, or let me see, 2 of them contain talismans of rebirth. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3. 3 of them contain a jewel of the demon seal. And the other one, on chapter 10, the 8th test of valor, it contains grains of spiritual life and yellow essence. Some of these are easy, but some of them are just extremely brutally hard. Like some of them you can get by with like spamming attacks, like spamming UTs. Obviously this is not one of those. I apologize for pressing the pause button frequently. It's just because I needed like a break, like a second, just to breathe. So if you're reluctant about using a lives of the 1,000 gods to actually defeat this, just bear in mind that you'll get one in return. But I was actually a little bit reluctant to actually use the lives of the 1,000 gods. I would have been more disposed to use the talisman of rebirth. But at least they kind of cancel each other out. I mean, you use one, but you get one. And there's a lot of other lives of the 1,000 gods that don't even require you to beat a test of valor. They're just in the game. But there are a couple more that we can grab, namely the one on chapter 6 and the one on chapter 11. So, okay, so it just seems like this never ends. But there will come a point when you won't have any more spawners of IS ninjas. And then what that means is that you're going to have to go over to the pile of crawlers and then just take out the remaining IS ninjas. You got to be really careful about that, though. You don't want to go over there and get grabbed. What else was I going to say about that? Yeah. It will end. This madness, it will end. So spacing's very important on this. When the guy's chasing you, I'm constantly moving the right analog stick to look over my shoulder to see where he's located, and you kind of have to go with your gut, like knowing when to do the wind path. Like right there, I knew I could do it right there. You can't be too close to him when you're doing it, and you can't be too far away. Otherwise, you're likely to get grabbed. So it is very. It takes a lot off your shoulders just to know that if you get grabbed, you have a talisman of rebirth to fall back on. But I mean, this whole time you're dash evading, so it's going to wear on your hand. It's going to. It's just going to seem like you're not making any progress, but you are. Every one of these guys you kill, you're getting closer to your goal. And once we just take these guys out, it's pretty easy after that. It's just, I think the hardest part of this whole thing is just dealing with the mages first for me. And then, obviously, these guys are pretty tough. I don't know why the level 3 Falcon's talents can't just take these guys out with one Fly Swallow Azuna drop. I just don't understand it. So I don't think I've got grabbed this whole time, but that's just because I was on guard completely. So I'm just keeping my guard up. Like, as long as you're keeping your guard up from a distance, you're not going to get tagged with incendiary shurikens. They're not going to go through your guard. And it's nice to stand behind that knoll. where they can't hit you. Also, when you're engaging in combat with these guys, just make sure that whenever you body slam the guy into the ground, make sure you're not anywhere near the pile of crawlers. So just keep them at a distance, and just keep the Essences at a safe distance, and then keep your spacing intact, and then wind path off their heads. That's actually a really good strategy. And here I'm just constantly looking over my shoulder just to see where the guy is. It would be nice to have some kind of a rear view mirror or something, or some kind of vision that you can look from behind you. And this was actually the second time I defeated this. I did this previously, and once I killed all the IS ninjas, then I went to town on killing the gray ninjas, and I wasn't killing them one at a time, and I got completely overwhelmed. So this is the best way to just be able to control this situation. Like when it's going on, you feel like you have at least a modicum of control over here. I mean, you still got these guys chasing you one after another, but at least it's one guy. At least it's one guy. Even though you've got other guys, even you've got the other D-limbed enemies throwing shurikens. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Looks like they're almost. I may have killed all the guys. Yep. Okay, so all the IS ninjas are killed. So what I need to do now is I'm going to switch to the Dragon Sword once again, just because I feel more comfortable in doing OTs with this weapon. Now it's actually a pretty dangerous task. You've got to go over to the. We need to take care of the rest of the IS ninjas. No more are going to spawn because they're not spawning. We just need to we just need to kill the last couple of guys. So I like to go over there and just. I think I had the arrows equipped. No, I had the shurikens. Shuriken cancel, and then just take care of these guys. So that was the last guy, and all we have now is gray ninjas. But just none are spawning right now. I got to kill one of the gray ninjas first. Then we'll have the same situation where we have a bunch of gray ninjas in the middle. What was I doing here? Shooting them. This is a really safe bet. Just to shoot one, and then from here on out until the trial ends, we're going to have one gray ninja spawning every single time we slay a newly spawned gray ninja. And then we're going to have that pile of crawlers in the middle, but they're not a threat unless you get close to them, because all they're doing is throwing shurikens, which barely even harm you whatsoever. So one problem here is when you're doing the UTs, your visibility is kind of there's kind of a haze all around you when you're doing that charge. So just kind of take your pick, whichever weapon you want. See how the guy just kind of appeared out of the left side? You've really got to be careful. Once you kill a guy, and okay, let's take this for an example. I just slayed him. Now ideally what I want to do is I want to collect the essence, and then I want to go over and charge, but I don't want to start my charge right where the guy is coming, and possibly getting grabbed, and then that would be the end of this whole test of Valor, which has gone on for the last half hour. I don't want to lose my progress. So there's no real difference between these gray ninjas and the undead ninjas, except that they have the ability. These guys can do the gleaming blade attack, not the gleaming blade UT, but the gleaming blade attack, and they could also, as all of the other enemies can do in this test of Valor, they grab you, and then you need to take them out. So this goes on for quite a while. I was surprised at just how many of these guys there were. It just seemed like they're. I pretty much know for a fact. I know there are the mages number the fewest. There can't be more than like 20 mages, but there are. I think that the distribution of these guys here and the IS ninjas are equal, because it just felt like it took about the same amount of time. But killing the mages is always, it's pretty short work, but you've got to be really careful that you don't receive too much damage, and you watch out for all their ninfo attacks. So I killed one guy. Now you see that was pretty close. If you can't get off a UT and all you can do is safely ET, do it, because you don't want to lose progress here. So you've got to really scan the environment. See, I killed him. Now I think I'm going to absorb his essence. You see, he appeared kind of out of nowhere, right there. So when you are charging, if you want to do my strategy, you may want to use the lunar if you want to. The reason I didn't want to use the lunar is because I didn't want to inadvertently have that flame finishing move hit any of the crawlers. So don't even rely on throwing shurikens, because as you just saw right there, I was right next to the guy, and Ryu was throwing shurikens at the crawlers. So that could have potentially ended up with me getting grabbed. So I think as this trial goes on, I use one of my final healing items, just because I thought to myself, you know what, I might as well use a grains of spiritual life, and just in case someone grabs me, because the health I have right now would not allow me to survive getting grabbed. Using a grains of spiritual life and completely filling out my health, that would allow me to survive. So, and I also knew that I had the Talisman of Rebirth to fall back on still. But as I got further into this trial and almost, got this far and was ready to complete it, I didn't want to have to resort to that, because that is a $50,000 item. It's not cheap, and Gigadeath, who we're going to fight after this, you pretty much need a Talisman of Rebirth on him, because he's one of the worst, poorly designed bosses and cheap bosses in this entire game. So that's another thing you need to consider. You need to not only come here with a lot of money, but leave here with a lot of money, so you could buy more stuff to deal with Gigadeath. Unless you're simply doing the Test of Valor and then ending it. So mobility is crucial here, as is scanning the environment. So that's right there. I was checking to see how many healing items I had. I had one, and I said, you know what, just let me use it, because I'm not losing all this progress. It's completely, it's completely unnecessary to get grabbed here, and I would rather waste a grains of spiritual life, which are, I believe they're 7,000, rather than getting grabbed and then having to use the Talisman of Rebirth, which is 50,000. So that was my thinking when I used that healing item. So more guys come. They will stop. Just give it time. But yeah, I would say that this trial is pretty tough. I mean, it's got a very steep learning scale. When I first did this, I just had no idea what was expected of me. Just took so much practice and even more preparation. I mean, when I first started this guide, pretty much I was preparing to do this Test of Valor. It's that bad. The Test of Valor in Chapter 4 is not hard whatsoever, so at least we get a breather between this Test of Valor and the Test of Valor on Chapter 5. So hopefully this is almost over. just don't get complacent and think that, oh, okay, the battle's over. It must be over because I've killed enough guys. Never think that, because that's when the guy will appear out of the side of the screen, grab you, and kill you. But I have never gotten to this phase and gotten that complacent where I got killed here. I've only got killed in the first 2 phases. But definitely, this is your time to get your money back, definitely, because every one of these kills, I believe you get 500 almost. So, I mean, we've had to use so many items that it's about time for us to get remunerated over here with UT kills, definitely. I mean, that's what I was thinking this whole time. It's finally time for me to get paid back. Okay, there's the next guy coming over the knoll. Got a little bit too close. Don't want to get close to the crawlers. I only could get off an ET right there. I was fine with that. They are going to completely refill your health and Nimpo. Your key gauge is going to be completely restored, as is your health bar. So it's a nice, nice considerate touch that this game does. And obviously you get to keep all the money you've received and the prize you receive for beating the Test of Valor. So is that it? Nope. Also, another reason I wanted to save the Talisman of Rebirth was, like I said, because of Gigadeath. And there's actually 2 Talismans of Rebirth on the next stage, so there's no shortage of Talismans of Rebirth. Is this it? Nope. But I mean, it's pretty exhilarating. I mean, one of the things that I was just completely nervous about was, please, Xbox 360, don't freeze on me now, because it freezes on a daily basis. Okay, so finally it's over. Now I'm gonna get a double kill on these guys, and that's it for the Test of Valor. We've done it. It was extremely tough, but we did it. So now we're gonna get our prize. I'm gonna hang a left over here. Wasn't sure where the box was, but there it is. And here is the prize. And I thank you for watching. I'll see you in Test of Valor number 2 on Chapter 4. Okay, we completed the Test of Valor. Thankfully, my Xbox 360 didn't freeze on me. And now we're going to go save it, so make sure you rebuy all the stuff that you lost in the Test of Valor. So we have several archers up in the subway car and IS ninjas. So what I like to do is to stand over here and keep my guard up and throw all of the IS ninjas into the side of the wall. I don't really concern myself about the archers who are shooting at me until I just take care of all these guys and dispatch them to hell. So we're almost done with this level. It was nearly a 2-hour video. I thought it was actually going to be more than 2 hours. So there's a lot of these guys here. And these guys are pretty old by this point. I mean, not if you just started into this campaign, but Definitely by my watch, they're pretty old. Okay, now what I'm going to do is stun and then get an on landing charge, do an ET, and then divest the enemy of his flaming arrow. And then to do a UT, what I'm going to do is go under the subway car to kill this guy who is armless, or at least he has one arm. And then I'll UT this guy, get my 490, and then there's going to be other archers who spawn on the map down here. But I believe we need to take care of this guy first, so jump in the air, stun him, get your on landing charge. Failing an on landing charge, make sure you just evade away and attempt it again. So I'm going to take this guy out with a UT to get my money, since I wasted a lot of money in the Test of Valor and had to rebuy a lot of stuff. Definitely for Gigadeath, you'll want every single item you can possibly have, including a Talisman of Rebirth. If you have a really good way of beating him without wasting too many items, more power to you, and I applaud you, but as far as my skill and tolerance level for that guy, he is one of the worst bosses in this game. Not because he's well, he is hard, but he's hard for the wrong reasons. He's hard because he's cheap. He's hard because he's not made well, and he spams attacks, and it's just like the game says, let me just throw everything at you that I possibly can and give you the bare minimum of a chance, and just force you to buy the most stuff you can possibly buy just to survive. That's not the way it should be whatsoever. So demon spawns and Van Gelf's down here. Make sure you at least try to get your 1400 per kill on these demon spawns. And remember, when I say demon spawns, I mean the yellow guys, because that's what my bestiary is calling these guys in my guidebook. So feel free. So if you have 3 Devilway mushrooms and 3 Nimpos in your key gauge, as well as a Talisman of Rebirth, that means you have 9 uses of Nimpo. So I found that I was comfortably situated with going to Gigadeath with 6 uses of the Nimpo. You're not going to need to use Nimpo on Gigadeath, but you will need to use the Nimpo to give yourself immunity when he's spamming his attacks, which are completely bogus and way too hard to dodge. They just hit you all of a sudden and then you're dead, because it guard blocks you. You can't even move, and it takes away all your health practically. Not to mention the face of death. But I think let me know. Chime in. Is Gigadeath your worst boss in this game? Not like the hardest, but he is hard. He's hard because he's so damn cheap, and it's just like, it's insulting for me. It's completely insulting. Just the way they let that boss slide. Anyway, so I'm using a few daggers over here. We are going to be able to buy daggers in the next stage. Right now, I am since I know Gigadeath is a coming, I'm switching my loadout to the way I want it, so I don't have to keep doing it when I face Gigadeath. What you want is probably the wind blades, the lunar, and the arrow. Definitely the arrows. So here he comes. He's not fun to fight whatsoever. The least enjoyable fight in the game, definitely. So right away, start out with an arrow UT. Try to get him in the face. I think I got him in the face right there and didn't do very much. 360 UTs are very good too. So basically, I don't know, I get really impatient on this boss, and I also, one of the reasons I do get impatient is because I know that whatever I do, all of my efforts of, evasion and things like that are just going to be thrown out the window when he starts spamming attacks, and I'm just left at the mercy of, you see that? Look at that, I'm almost dead. It's just, this is made so poorly. I can't stress enough how they actually clean this boss up in Sigma 2, and that just goes to show you, whenever they need to clean something up, it's because it's wrong, and it's made so sloppily that it's embarrassing. This isn't whoever made this, they should be embarrassed, because this is just horrible. So just drop Nimpo to get your iframes. I like to do the 360 UT, even though sometimes I can't get it to connect. But when it connects, it takes away a pretty good amount of damage. So basically, like the rule of thumb on this guy, see how he's upside down right there? He'll do that. The rule of thumb is just that you follow him. You don't want to get in front of him when he's spamming all of his attacks. You pretty much want to stay behind him. But I like to opt for a little bit more of aggressive stance on this guy, and don't overly concern yourself with getting headshots. Just keep hitting him whenever you can. Build up your arrow UT and shoot him. Don't worry if you're shooting him in the tail or the side of him. It's all going to add up. The damage is going to add up. Obviously headshots are a little bit better than tail shots or side shots, but this is just why it's completely horrible. And I honestly don't know anyone who thinks that this is an enjoyable fight, let alone one that is functional. It's completely broken. We throw that word around quite a lot, and it's overused, but this exemplifies broken. Watch out for the face of death. It's instant death, as you could probably imagine. There's this beam attack. We need to evade it. You could get pretty good with evading, but it's just like when his projectiles come, if you didn't have Nimpo here, you would have to restart the checkpoint and just do the previous wave a little bit better and use Nimpo more frugally. But fortunately, we don't have to take them all. And over here, of course, my Lunar couldn't connect with the UT, so I just had to hit him with standard attacks. I think I finally got it connected, but boy, that was almost a 2-hour video. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you thumbs up the video if you like it. Make sure you go into the playlist for this video guide and give that a thumbs up. Make sure you comment and ask questions and facilitate the discussion, because one of the things I love is not only posting videos but drawing people in and stimulating discussions. So I actually turned out to be a master ninja in this run, but pretty much when you do the test of Valor, it's definitely pretty much guaranteed you'll get it.